Brother to brother, there's something in the blood. Brother to brother, united us as one. One to another, like no other. Brother to brother, brother to brother. I never knew that you existed. I never saw you in my dreams. If there were sights, I must have missed them. Who would have believed?
Remember when we first met John McClane? Argyle picked him up from the plane and took him down the Nakatomi Tower at the Christmas party. And the terrorists were overzealous, but it was sweet when they killed Ellis. And with a little help from Alan, John McClane kicked ass.
Welcome back to Shat The Movies, the podcast where we answer the question, were the movies we loved when we were growing up really that good? Have you ever caught yourself thinking, why don't they make movies like they used to? Can you still remember spending your Friday night searching for the perfect movie rental at Blockbuster Video? Do you know what Blockbuster Video is? If you answered yes, then this is the podcast for you. I am one of your hosts, Gene Lyons, and alongside is my co-host, Big D, Dick Ebert.
Yakety yak, don't talk back.
Each week, we took a look back in time and decided if our favorite films still hold up. The movies we cover are chosen by you, the listeners, who generously commission the films you love. If you like to see all the movies we have covered, we'll cover one, to choose one for yourself. Please visit shatpod.com and have a look. At the end of each podcast, we'll provide you, the audience, the number of wipes each movie take to get off your respective butts. So thank you so much for listening. If you have not already, hit that subscribe button and share with a friend. It's how we help the podcast grow. Additionally, subscribe to our sister podcast, Chat on TV. We review TV series such as Westworld, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, True Detective, Lovecraft Country, and Watchmen. Find all information and past episodes at shatpod.com/TV. And finally, if you would like to hang out with us live, follow and subscribe to our Twitch channel, shatpod.com/Twitch, and our YouTube channel, where we play video games, host watch parties, and edit this podcast live. All that being said, Big D, what movie are we reviewing tonight?
Gene, I'm very excited for tonight. The multiverse is big now. With the Marvels, you have all the multiverse, all the movies do alternate realities. And tonight's film is one of those where it is a pivotal time in film for a blockbuster actor who tried to change up his career. And it could have gone one way, could have gone the other. And it's long overdue. Arnold Schwarzenegger has been one of our favorites. We started out with him. Some of my favorite reviews were Conan with you and Carrie, The Running Man. We've done a lot of great ones. So it was exciting now to go see because we've talked about his ability to transition from action star, where he really didn't have a personality. He couldn't even speak the language in the beginning, to a versatile actor who could pull off a comedy. And tonight it is that point, Gene. It's that special year, 1988, where our timeline diverges. So Dalen, our great listener commission, said, please go back to 1988 and review the iconic comedy Twins.
Dalen wrote it and said, hello, crew. I am commissioning the Schwarzenegger-DeVito comedy Twins for two reasons. One, my twin sons. They are currently 12 years old, and I wouldn't be an amazing father if I didn't force them to sit through all the movies I remember from the 80s and 90s. Unfortunately, not all are a hit. When Twins came across our radar a few months back, I made sure it was our next watch. I remember this movie as pretty straightforward. It has two comically diverse twins, a campy storyline, and a dim-witted villain. Oh, and there was an ongoing emphasis on Julius's sexual awakening. Upon watching again, I realized that my childhood memory was pretty spot on. There wasn't much that I gained upon rewatch over 30 years later. I'm commissioning this movie because I want to know how it aged from the one and only Shat experts. I'm hoping that the Shat crew can find a gem in this movie that I missed. I will say that Danny DeVito should get lifelong royalties for any movie Arnold Schwarzenegger has done since, because he might have well saved Arnold's career with his performance here. I suppose I did learn something from this movie. It is the fourth rule in a crisis situation. When you show your 11-year-old twins an 80s movie that didn't age well, be prepared to take a lot of shit for a ruined evening they will never get back. Shat team, I'm asking you to do your best and try to find a silver lining that can explain why this movie stands out as a classic comedy from our past. Thanks, and as always, keep shatting, Dalen.
I mean, I got to ask, he says that Danny DeVito saved this. I don't know if that's true, because why does Arnold work? This is peak Arnold, right? He is a jacked man. He's a gigantic human being. Why does it work that he's playing this awkward, nerd, isolated, knave guy?
I think what he's saying, what Dalen's saying here, is that at this point in Arnold's career, he's in his mid-30s. He is still a specimen, which we'll get to later, but he is not what he was at peak bodybuilding, right? His physique, while impressive in this movie, and we see a lot of it, it's not what it was at its peak. You look at his calves, you look at his pecs, his delts. He wasn't really known for his delts, but all of him has aged quite a bit at this point. Again, not knocking Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got a better body than I'll ever have. But I think what Dalen's saying is that he realized at this point that maybe being that strict, muscle-bound, Conan the Barbarian type wasn't going to work for him. And Danny DeVito helped open up this whole new door into a straightforward comedy. I mean, yeah, he did some stunty stuff here, lifted a car, flipped the guy over. But for the most part, we're relying on the laughs. In Big D, we've talked on past episodes about how certain 80s movies connected us to the whole family. Your mom, your uncles, your cousins. And whether that memory is accurate or not, you close your eyes and you remember everyone in the room. They were gathered around the TV. A tape went into the VCR, and you could look around from the sofa to the recliner to the floor, and you see all these smiling faces enjoying something together. Those moments are rare these days. I hope to have those moments with my family, but as a kid, they meant everything to me. And this is one of those movies that brought everybody together. It's PG. It's a giant of 80s comedy. And 8-year-old Gene is with us in the room today, feeling all the feels from Twins.
See, I don't know. I think now I'm starting to analyze my childhood. My mother was Swedish. My dad wasn't a sports fan. I don't remember him being like a movie fan. Actually, now I don't know what the fuck he's into other now than guns and politics. But growing up, it wasn't like movies were a family thing. My mother even now is like very particular. If it's not Sidney Poitier or like maybe some early Denzel or some of the Barbra Streisand stuff she used to love, or, you know, some other Nick Nolte films, it was never that we really sat down to watch a movie as a family. So I didn't get that enjoyment. I used to just watch it on my own. And I knew Arnold is like that ass-kicking fucking the Terminator. You look at the run he went on. I'm going to start off 84, Conan, then 84, Terminator, Red Sonja, Commando, Raw Deal, Predator, Running Man, Red Heat. He's fucking like killing it. And then all of a sudden, Twins, and it's a poster of him in that suit with Danny DeVito. I didn't even remember watching this, but as we went through the rewatch, I was like, shit, I have seen it, but I wish that I had remembered like what people were saying, what people thought, or what my family thought. But I almost wished I'd watched this with Emma, because this borderline could have been something she could have watched.
And you guys could have talked about fertility and experiments, laboratory stuff. Does she know she's a miracle? Do you talk to her about that?
She does.
Okay.
Yeah, she does. I tell her that, you know, when you're older, you'll realize it, that there was a point where you were in a petri dish in Tampa, Florida, an hour away from us, you know, and she'll kind of understand it. But if I might freak her out with this, I would be more worried about when Jules is on the ground with his lady friend and she says, we'll figure it out. That would have made me more nervous than any of the science.
Figure it out how, Daddy?
What are they doing?
Planks. Twins is a 1988 buddy comedy directed and produced by Ivan Reitman. Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito star as unlikely fraternal twin brothers Julius and Vincent, who were separated at birth. The film marked the first collaboration for Reitman and Schwarzenegger. It was a commercial success, grossing $216 million worldwide. And instead of taking their usual salaries for the film, Schwarzenegger, DeVito, and Reitman agreed with the studio to take part ownership of the film and collectively take 40% of the film's back end, resulting in the biggest paychecks of their film careers. Let's hit the trailer.
They were creating the perfect man. But something went slightly wrong.
I have a brother. I'm a side effect.
Arnold Schwarzenegger and Danny DeVito are twins.
Born to be bad.
Only their mother can tell them apart.
The moment I sat down, I thought I was looking into a mirror.
Twins, rated PG. Starts Friday, December 9th at theaters everywhere.
Julius and Vincent Benedict are fraternal twins, the results of a secret experiment to produce the perfect child. The mother, Marianne Benedict, was told that Julius died at birth, and she was not told about Vincent at all. Each twin is unaware of the other's existence. Julius was informed that his mother died in childbirth, and Vincent believed his mother abandoned him. Vincent was placed in an orphanage run by nuns in Los Angeles, while Julius was taken to a South Pacific island and raised by Professor Werner. So the movie Big D opens on some shaky ground. I know it's a comedy, but I need some semblance of a foundation. You got newborns that don't look like newborns. I know that now. The men supposedly contributing to building this Ubermensch, they're giving the 6 men who gave their genetic material to the laboratory, they're all past their primes. They look like old dudes. And for some reason, they tell Marianne, Julius and Vincent's mother, that her child didn't survive birth. Also, Mom apparently didn't notice she had twins. Anyway, we next see Julius, and he's living on this island being raised by Professor Werner until he's 35 years old. And finally, we get a movie that explains Arnold's accent. It's because he got it from Professor Werner. But at this point, I'm wondering if anyone else in the audience is thinking, well, what was the point of the experiment? Like you said, you wanted to make the perfect human, and it's this cloak and dagger secret op at Los Alamos, and then they just leave him on an island to do whatever he wants? Like, did I miss something?
We're assuming this was like a legitimate science experiment because that's what we're used to. Maybe, like you said, this was just some hacks. Some dudes with a little too much time, a little too much money having fun. Because the weirdest part, it lacks that motivation. Normally, you think of Captain America, right?
Right.
You think there is some kind of a moral science project, and who's going to fund it? You got a couple options. You got the military. They're always the military-industrial complex, or a private company who's looking to develop maybe some kind of technology for the ultra elite to live forever, right? Here, it's like some rogue group of like overconfident doctors in the basement of a fucking hospital. These dudes are like down there playing God. They're having fun. They close the damn lab a week after the Jules and Vincent are born. There's no clear end game. There's no contract. We don't know what the hell this is. It's a wacky premise. But if you put this into like 2025, into my thoughts, right? First of all, I was like, fuck, creepy rich guy, woman breeding program, private island. I'm like, whoa, hold on. If you did this shit today, right? This would start out, if this was a movie, with lawsuits, a congressional hearing, documentaries, and a 3-piece Netflix special. They're like, on this island, special genetic engineering, a disregard for embryos and secrecy and shit, right? There's a lot of bioethical red flags here. But it also, this is like Stranger Things. This is like a sanitized version of another Netflix classic, Stranger Things.
For those curious, I looked up whether the United States government has any record of doing anything like this, or if any government has any record of doing something like this experiment. And a couple things came to light. One is that getting genetic material from 6 men and then blending it into what they call the milkshake in order to make one child, that's very difficult, if not impossible to do. But 2, the government has done some seriously fucked up things, giving people syphilis, forced sterilization, feeding pregnant women radioactive material just to see what would happen. Never has the U.S. government said, hey, you know what we do? We're going to combine some genetic material and make the perfect person. And why? Because as you said, Big D, what would be the point? There you got him. Dude, put him on an island. I guess he's good at rowing boats.
Oh, he rows the fuck out of that boat. Looks like there's like an outboard on it. But Gene, that machine looks somewhat sexual. It looks like a milking machine that these 6 dudes would put their penises in. It's pulsating and stroking. And then there is some kind of beaker, or what is that? What was it with the fat base and the tiny top?
Yeah, beaker.
Yeah. No, beaker's kind of straight. Educated flask or whatever the fuck. All you biologists out there. Just
graduated flask.
Graduated flask, yes. This looks like these 6 random outcast scientists / doctors at this facility probably abducted a poor woman, jerked off into this fucking glass, put it in the middle of the milker, got her pregnant, and all of a sudden they're like, hey, we got to get the fuck out of here, right? Because let's be honest, this experiment doesn't seem to be for any purpose, like we mentioned, but the results are a bit ridiculous. Somehow you get this genetic, like superhuman Arnold, right? He is gigantic. He is beautiful. He's the ultimate. But then you get Danny DeVito. He's like, I don't know what's more believable, that Arnold is the perfect human being or that Danny DeVito, who looks like a bridge troll, you have the Penguin in a couple of years, that we meet him climbing out of some woman's window. I'm like, that's a bit of a stretch. That feels a little bit more fanciful, like more fantasy, that Danny DeVito is banging multiple hot women when he just looks like some dude from Jersey, some tiny, his height's not his problem, right? But the way he carries himself, that I'm supposed to believe women in LA are fighting over him, that I had to suspend my disbelief more for that than that Arnold, this gigantic Adonis, perfect psychological and physical specimen, that they're brothers. There's no way Danny DeVito's getting laid like this.
I think they're trying to establish that he's a very good con man, that his charisma is what wins the women over. That's how he banged the nun at age 12, and the fact that she's an ephebophile. But I would buy it other than the haircut, because he's got like a ponytail and then the sides are all long, but there's a big bald spot in the front and the back. And guys, hear me out. King B, if you're listening, one of the very cool things, one of the few cool things about being a guy is nobody thinks twice if you shave your head. If I shave my head tomorrow, people would say, oh, Gene, that's weird. Like, you used to have really long hair. But no one would think anything of it. If a woman shaves her head, there's a lot of questions. Is she balding? Is she a lib? What's going on? Guys, if you're balding, it's cool, man. Shave your head, wear a cool hat, become a fedora guy. You have so many options.
Yeah, but you're an elitist. You can't fucking say that. You're a follicle elite. Your hair is majestic. It's easy for you to say, oh, shave your head. Okay, granted, I'm 52 and I have hair, right? You do as well, but I agree, shave your head. But it's not as simple as that for people.
I shaved my head for football. I shaved my head for Air Force Junior ROTC. It was fine. Didn't bother me at all. Why? Hats. There's so many kinds of hats.
That was a little friendly fire, though, at King B. What are you trying to say? I've not seen him without that.
Exactly. He refuses to shave his head.
Is it looking like Jason Voorhees or is it looking like Vincent?
Not like Vincent. No, he's got like the monk? Whatever. It's the hairs on the sides, it's very much thinning on the top. And I'm just like, dude, just not like you don't have to bick it, just buzz cut. It looks way better if you just buzz cut it. It looks intentional.
That's it. It's owning it. It's controlling the narrative.
Yeah. Be a power bald.
Yeah, fuck yes.
Yeah. On Julius's 35th birthday, Werner tells him that he has a twin brother. So Julius leaves the island to find Vincent. Although intelligent, he is extremely naive about the real world his more streetwise brother inhabits. Julius finds a scornful Vincent in jail and bails him out, but Vincent abandons Julius in the parking lot. Julius tracks Vincent to his workplace and rescues him from one of the Klain brothers, to whom Vincent owes money. So Big D, the basics of this movie, you get twins separated at birth. One of them gets street smarts, one of them gets book smarts. I'm fine with that. That's okay. Play into that. They should be equally balanced. One's got certain attributes. The other one has other attributes, right? I felt Julius, in this case, was a little OP. He gets the book smarts, but he also gets huge muscles, martial arts skills, apparently a ton of money, and the uncanny ability to just find a man by walking around Los Angeles and eating street food. And I get that they suggest these twins have some sort of a psychic connection. That's how they can find each other. But Julius, who's lived on a South Pacific island his entire life, doesn't know slang, doesn't understand how the city works. He is an incredibly good manhunter. He shows up in LA and within, a day, he's already found one guy in a city of millions.
But the bad part is that he is unknowingly, right? It's not like, yes, he's skilled in martial arts, but he stumbles into protecting himself in a way you would never expect. There's the guy who is going to rob his briefcase, right? He's carrying around this giant silver suitcase. I'm imagining it's packed with money.
Milkshake.
Money, protein powder, some shit from the island, maybe some Chaucer, some other novels that he loves, right? But the shit is the guy tries to grab the suitcase and he gets pulled off of it. And he is so innocent and caring that he's like, I did nothing. The pavement was his energy. The next time, maybe you should really wear a helmet. And it's so earnest. Like he actually fucking cares about this dude. So I'm completely fine with it. Just the way that they dressed him. It does have to work. This is Arnold's first comedy. Whoever was in charge of wardrobe, they deserve the bonus because you put Arnold in an oversized blazer, little khaki shorts, and a Born to Be Bad like 7-Eleven t-shirt with long socks that are pushed down like a 12-year-old boy at camp with his Converse sneakers, his Chuck Taylor All-Stars, and you give him this giant suitcase and he's walking around LA. Everyone knows he doesn't belong there. He's like an exchange student who's lost. And it is just funny. It works. It is perfectly funny. The outfit alone does half the work of putting this giant Adonis of a man in a position of being a fish out of water, but yet he is strong enough to defend himself and learn. He is not Conan the Barbarian. I forget that he is this giant Austrian strongman. And I picture him, this sheltered child growing up on this island, rowing his fucking boat to get on the plane. It works so well.
As Vincent says, he looks like a goat herder from Albania. It's a perfect example. But Jesus Christ, did you see his calves? Did you notice those things? This is not peak Arnold. This is not peak Arnold. Those calves still they look like Renaissance Festival turkey legs.
It looks like Popeye doing handstands.
Yeah. And for those who are like, yeah, well, it's Arnold Schwarzenegger. He's got about the same length of shorts as John Cena wears. And John Cena himself is, quite a strong man. He's well built. But look at John Cena's legs and then look at Arnold's legs. Good Lord. Those things they're like angular. Crazy.
Yes. And not to take this in a set. Have you seen John Cena recently?
Yeah, I saw him in WWE like last year.
So he retired. I saw him, I think he was at Cannes, the film festival, and he's getting out of a car. You can see he has some form of a back issue.
He still looks good in Peacemaker.
Oh, physically, his body looks great.
Yeah.
But you can see the toll. And we did, what the hell was it? It was the Madonna, the wrestling movie, Vision Quest. Roger and I reviewed it. QT Marshall, who used to wrestle a little bit in the major wrestling leagues, the amount of damage that weightlifting, wrestling takes on your body, it's pretty impressive. And even today, he looks pretty good. Back then, you keep saying he wasn't his peak. He's looking pretty fucking good.
Wait, who wasn't at his peak?
You said Arnold was not at his peak.
No, not in 88. No.
Dude.
That was not his peak.
Come on.
He was like in his mid-30s.
Dude, if that human being walked anywhere else other than the Mr. Olympian like competition.
Are you familiar with what a peak is?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Listen, you may go on.
When Julius meets Vincent's girlfriend, Linda, he is oblivious to the flirtatious advances of her blonde sister, Marnie. Vincent steals a Cadillac and discovers a secret prototype fuel injector in the trunk, which was to be delivered to an industrialist in Houston for $5 million. He decides to deliver it himself and collect the money, but Webster, the original delivery man, begins ruthlessly searching for the person who stole the prototype.
So now we're going to try to find the bad guys that are going to drive the plot forward. And we meet Webster. He's like this mysterious bagman, henchman, hitman, whatever he is. He's like the guy you hire. Seems like a fucking good gig, dude. Drive my Cadillac to Texas and I'll give you $5 million.
My cousin in Chicago messaged me the other day and he said that he needs to get a work van used one, and he heard that Phoenix is the place to get them because we don't have salted roads, the weather's not extreme, whatever. And it's true. Cars, as you saw in Terminator, they stay fairly functional out in the desert, right? There's not a lot to eat away at them. And my immediate thought was, that sounds like the coolest thing ever. Yeah, I want to get a work van in Phoenix and drive it all the way to Chicago. And Big D was that moment where I just forgot for a second that I'm a parent and I can't just do that. I can't just grab a van and go. But yeah, Bagman, driving a Cadillac to Texas, hell yeah.
See, I thought you were thinking more, you're a Persian man driving that's what Timothy McVeigh did, didn't he?
Oh, I thought you were going to say in the current climate, it's not safe for me to be driving by myself without my passport.
That's a perfect vehicle for a car bomb.
Yeah.
I thought Timothy McVeigh got caught taking it from out west to Oklahoma City.
Yeah.
I picture you with that hair and that mustache, and you're screaming a van full of fertilizer.
I'm the most patriotic looking thing you've ever seen.
Yeah, that's what a terrorist would say.
DHS to just give me thumbs up and wave me on.
That's what a fucking terrorist would say. But Webster, so we meet him. He's mysterious. He's got the best job on the planet. And he's ruthless. He's efficient. He's smart. He's targeting and killing without hesitation. But the second, right, because I think he goes to meet the scientists in their office, in a scientific business setting. Silencer shoots them both. The second that he let the Klan brothers go and he shoots them in the legs and says, hey, your brothers have a problem with their feet, you might too. I'm like, God damn it. I know these guys are coming back. Immediately I knew we weren't done with them, and somehow at the end, these greasy side villains would come back. Once you let them survive, we're not going to forget about them. It's movie math. You know they're going to come back. And I'm watching Webster, and he's executing the scientist. He's smart. And I wish that they'd kept him smart. The Klans only come back for that one scene in the bar, right? That's a waste of a scene. Have him whack them. So as we're going, it becomes kind of like No Country for Old Men. When you have a mysterious assassin with a goddamn air fucking whatever it is that they kill the cattle, don't tell me anything other than he means business. My $5 million, I will get the fucking prototype to Houston. It would have been such a better second half of the film.
Right?
Yeah.
Dude he's like Kinjo. Remember Kinjo? Our friend Kinjo the Ninja?
Yes.
Kinja the Ninja?
What, from Ninja Scroll?
From The Hunted.
Gotcha.
No, 1 second, he's like, nobody sees my face and lives. And then he proceeds to let 3 dudes see his face and live. But I got a theory here. Okay.
Uh-oh.
Technically, they did not know he was Webster. They just thought he was some dude, right? So him using a gun, clearly they did not have guns when they showed up at Danny DeVito's house, at Vincent's house, right? They didn't have guns because they would have shot back.
He fucking surprised them. They weren't expecting it.
Right, but one of them didn't get shot at all.
Listen to me. If some assassin shoots my 2 brothers, I'm going to be like, whoa, okay. He's letting us live. We're gonna live to fight another day.
It was not like he patted them down and shit.
You just let him go.
As soon as he turns his back, you blast him.
Let him go. A bear breaks into your cabin and mauls 2 of your friends. Looks at you, goes, oh, and then goes out the front door. You fucking let him go.
Well, yeah, because he's a highly intelligent bear who just communicated with me. I had a moment.
Right. That's what happened here. It's exactly what happened here.
Hear me out, though. How about this? Webster wants them to do his dirty work. He tips them off, right? He injures them, and then he has them get riled up, and they go after Vincent. They find Vincent, right? Maybe they'll take him out because they showed up with guns the next time. A gun they showed up with. No? Not buying it?
I mean, I like your story. So you're saying he used them to go after the boss and find out the girlfriends where they worked, go ask the boss, then to follow. So he used them like a rabbit.
Well, I think he was hoping that they would get the job done, but then when they didn't, he had to take matters into his own hands. Yeah, it's pretty thin.
Yeah.
It's pretty thin.
So now we're going further in the movie, Gene. And from a creative modern standpoint, I always like to try to put us, we do a lot of creative rewrites. We do fan theories. We do a lot of in-world rewrites of scripts. And I got to put myself now. It's Hollywood. It's 88. I got Schwarzenegger. He's coming in. He's like, oh, I want to be a comedian. Okay, we're going to let you be a comedian.
Yeah.
And then the heads of the studio are like, what do we need? We need some DNA twin brother powerhouse anthems. That's what we need, right? And everybody's like, yeah, that's a great idea. It's exactly what we need. Does Twins deliver that? They deliver 2, Gene. And it kills me. The first song that we get is about halfway through the movie, okay? And it's about bloodlines and destiny, and it's so on the nose. It's by the Spinners, and it's called Brother to Brother. And it goes something like this. It's like brother to brother. I get the lyrics here, Gene, so I don't butcher this, because it's such a beautiful song. Brother to brother, there's something in the blood. Brother to brother, united us as one. One to another, like no other. Brother to brother, brother to brother. I never knew that you existed. I never saw you in my dreams. If there were sights, I must have missed them. Who would have believed? And it goes on more and more about this shit, right? So I'm picturing the studio heads like, oh, this is going to be great. It's going to help everybody get through. They're brothers. In case you missed it, they're brothers. And then we get all the way to the end and we get the second one. This is we're getting over the credits, and it's Philip Bailey and Little Richard. They come in with the song called Twins. It's more than brother to brother. In case we missed the genetic metaphor for the first 90 minutes, the soundtrack is screaming, hey, Gene, they share the same DNA. In case you guys missed it in the back row as you're walking out, it's so fucking heavy-handed, Gene. But this was so 88. Could you imagine today, any movie, come up with like a top 5 movie that they would do this shit with a song?
No, they would get they would find whatever band was super popular at the time or a song that they wanted to popularize, do some sort of a tie-in there. But this gets to something we haven't really talked about, just to bring it out up in the open, right? This movie is cheesy. It is just plain cheesy. The music is cheesy. The jokes are cheesy. The neurotic need for parallelism, everything's got to be twinned up. It's cheesy. In being cheesy, it might be one of the best examples of pure star power carrying an entire film, right? DeVito and Schwarzenegger cannot fail, other than, I think, Collateral Damage. That movie was kind of a piece of shit, but they're so likable in this movie that you just wave off all the mediocrity surrounding them. Like, I knew while watching the movie that it's not a well-made movie. But these guys, there's a moment where DeVito spends 30 seconds just saying $5 million. And he's roaming around a room going, $5 million. And somehow that's entertaining to me. I would hate if anybody else was doing it, but you just let it go because these guys are great. They're great at what they do. At Julius's insistence, the two couples go on a cross-country journey to find their mother. Along the way, they fight off the Klain brothers in a honky-tonk, and Julian loses his virginity. When the twins find Mama, she lies and says Marianne is dead. While Julius accepts their mother's death, Vincent becomes bitter and storms off, leaving Julius, Linda, and Marnie stranded in New Mexico while he rushes to deliver the fuel injector to the industrialist Beetroot McKinley.
So, Gene, the reason this works so well is because they understood the power of the visual contrast of these two actors. Before any of them speak, the joke's already there. The 80s love this mismatched duo. So you've got the extreme visuals of this supersized human and this little kind of misfit. It's the biggest possible gap between two people. And they ran with it. And it works up because both of the actors are dynamic. Look at their careers, how far they've come. And then it hits me how ironic, looking back on it. There's a scene where you get finally that Vincent's going to get Jules to the tailor, and they're going to get him in that iconic suit and the shirt and the matching, where you get them in the twins, like the poster, right? So after they get the suits on and they're matching, and Jules asks Vincent, do I look cool? And Vincent says something to the effect of like, you look super cool. You're Mr. Ice. And then all of a sudden in my head, it clicks. I'm like, holy shit, we have two of the Batman supervillains here. You got Danny DeVito, and then you have Mr. Freeze. At the exact same time, Danny DeVito, when he plays the Penguin, and Arnold, Mr. Freeze in Batman and Robin, this was the most unintentional, unexpected foreshadowing of two famous villains that I almost feel like Schumacher had to have seen this and pulled that like, what is he? Like, why don't you cool off? That bullshit fucking Mr. Freeze line that he throws. It was so corny and so just perfect to see these two great actors who become badass villains standing in the middle of the street with their fucking suits and leaning on each other. Oh, so good.
I mean, you said it. These two actors are still some of the most beloved dudes in Hollywood. They're incredibly charming. They went on to have super long careers after Twins. They're still out there making things. And I was surprised at how badly I wanted things to work out for them. These characters, right? Vincent and Julius. There were these tender moments between them where they're having, where Julius is describing to Vincent about the fact that they're a family and they're going to find mom and they're going to have Christmas together and Thanksgiving together. And I fully expected Danny DeVito to like pull the rug out from under him and be like, I don't want any of that shit. Like he was leading Julius on. And I didn't want that to happen. I wanted it to be this earnest bond between the two, as completely unlikely as that is. And I was so nervous that the movie would turn cynical, but it never did. They understood that these two guys are likable enough that we're going to want to root for them and just let it ride. Just let us have feelings about the guys, make it wholesome, make it a PG movie, and make the grittiest thing that we see, the Klain brothers and Webster. And when Julius gets to Houston, looking for Vincent, who has abandoned them, we get, Big D, a nudie-mobile sighting. My favorite honky-tonk in Nashville is Robert's Western World. And just a few doors down, you'll find the world-famous Nudie's Honky Tonk, named after Ukrainian-born Tailor to the Stars, Nudie Cohn. Anyway, Nudie, in addition to making fabulous outfits like Elvis's gold lame tuxedo, he created something called Nudie Mobiles, which were customized Pontiac Bonnevilles. And there's one hanging like on the wall at his namesake honky tonk. You go in there and it's just there. It's the wildest thing. What does that have to do with Twins, you might ask? Well, dear listener, Julius shows up in Houston and he borrows Nudie Cohn's 1975 Cadillac Eldorado when he's looking for Vincent. And just so happens that Nudie Cohn liked to create his cars in twin pairs.
Oh, of course. Twins.
Twins. Brother to brother. Yeah.
I was more focused on a joke that I was sure was going to come. You now have Jules is nervous. It's out in the open. He's getting laid.
Yeah.
He's never kissed. He's never danced. He's never had a beer.
Tonight's your night, bro.
Oh, and the pressure. You can see he's nervous. He doesn't know what to do. He's obviously read some books about it, so he knows the basic concept. But Gene, they go into the bathroom, right? They're both drunk, they're bonding, and they're standing side by side in the urinals. And I'm guaranteeing, I'm like, fuck, this is the 1980s. It's a visual gag. Between the two urinals is unusually low. I know it's got to be coming. Jules is about to make love for the first time. He's framing how nervous he is. It is inviting Danny DeVito to be like, well, let me see. What do you got going on over there? And it doesn't come. It's a stall over stall. This is the perfect time for that joke. And the film avoids it. It's a predictable punchline that he would have looked over. When he goes, Jules, you're all swole. He could have looked over and been like, whoa, why didn't I get that?
And they dared to make a gay joke in that same scene, right? The brothers are hugging, they're spinning around, and a guy walks in and they're like, oh, we're brothers. It's okay. Have that guy walk in while he's looking at his dick. Yucca, yucca.
Or even have Arnold look over and Danny DeVito's got the giant hog.
He's got the big hog.
He's got the big dick.
And that's why all the women are sleeping with him.
Yes.
Okay.
So you were talking about
something.
OP and balancing out the power.
Yeah.
Arnold's bigger in his muscles, but Danny's got a juicy hog.
If you had to choose, which one would you be?
Oh, I'd take Arnold because who cares?
Yeah, same.
Arnold will get more women in the end. Danny's got to work harder.
When Vincent delivers the stolen property to Beetroot, Webster kills Beetroot and turns his attention to Vincent just as Julius arrives. Vincent, feeling his brother's presence, gives up the money to Webster just before killing him with a pile of chains. Vincent reluctantly agrees to return the money and the stolen engine to the authorities, but he secretly skims off $1 million. The twins' publicity reaches the art colony, and their mother realizes the two strange men who visit her were her long-lost sons after all. Julius and Vincent marry the Masons and each have twins of their own.
So thankfully, at the end here, it's a bit unexpected and funny. It felt like Austin Powers, right? You talk about the chain. They kind of wink at each other. We're going to release the chain, and the chain keeps falling, keeps falling, keeps falling. It's like from a different movie. And I'm glad that the movie didn't follow that tradition. It felt like it was going to be some kind of life lessons. Like Jules would have learned something, Vincent would have learned something, and they didn't go that way. There was no hallmark ending. Instead, Jules makes Vincent do the right thing. They turn the money in. I'm like, how the fuck was he going to make him turn the money in? Whatever. They turn it in, the $5 million. They get a reward, lesson learned, brothers unite. And then boom, Vincent says, hey, it was great to turn in that $4 million. And you realize that he skimmed $1 million off the top. And he is the same person he was before. And you know it's a ticking time bomb. Jules will slowly learn and become more savvy. How long until he realizes that his brother screwed him? And maybe the sequel's darker, but I was glad it wasn't this feel-good, happy ending where Vincent became a good guy and Jules had changed him. Bravo. You surprised us.
I'll counter that fanfic with my own. I think Julius already knows that Vincent skimmed some, and he was wise enough to be flexible. Because remember, Julius starts off as all theory, no practice. But as you said, Big D, he kind of develops through the film. I think they each became a little bit more like the other, brother to brother. He's a little more ethically malleable as the movie progresses. I think it makes sense that he's just like, yeah, you know what? We need to keep this business afloat. We already ripped through the 50 grand and we're down to 12,000 already. I know that Vincent skimmed $1 million, and that's what's probably keeping our office and letting this lady have a job and keep feeding her 4 twins and mama, right?
So I was thinking that the sequel would be darker, right? You know, there's some betrayal or whatever. So you know they had a sequel planned. Did you do any research?
Was it called Twins 2? 2 twins.
Well, here's what I'm going to do. We're going to play a game here. I know you love surprise games, Gene. So I've got 3 plots. One of them is real for the sequel, and 2 are fake, right? So you got to pick.
Do any of them involve Rosie O'Donnell or Ellen DeGeneres? I won't tell you until you pick them. So I'm not going to give you, I'm going to let you pick the order. I have 3 films for you. Title, synopsis, who was going to be in it. And then you got to pick which was the real sequel. Okay.
Which one do you want? 1, 2, or 3?
1.
Okay, so number 1, the sequel would be called Triplets. After learning more about the origin of the genetic experiment, Jules and Vincent discover they weren't just twins, but there was a third embryo deemed non-viable who was secretly carried to term by a separate surrogate. Their long-lost brother turns out to be wildly different from both of them, emotionally volatile, and resentful at being abandoned. The role would be played by Eddie Murphy or Tracy Morgan, creating a 3-way dynamic of brains, street smarts, chaos, and the story would follow the trio reuniting, clashing over their upbringing, and discovering more secrets of the experiment. That's number 1, Triplets.
Okay.
What's next?
Number 2.
Number 2 is called Twins, Genetic Recall. Years later, Jules is recruited by a biotech corporation that claims to have continued the original experiment. Vincent gets pulled in when he learns that they may have royalties to his DNA. The brothers discover that multiple enhanced individuals were created from their specific DNA. One of them, played by Jean-Claude Van Damme, believes to be the true successor to the project and challenges Jules physically and philosophically. The film becomes a globe-trotting chase where a comedy of twins try to stop the corporation from monetizing their genetic blueprints.
First of all, I think that's the plot of Heroes on NBC. I'd like to hear number 3.
Okay, number 3 for your final option. It's called Double Trouble. Now successful entrepreneurs Jules and Vincent are pulled into international chaos when a biotech company claims ownership over their genetic research that created them. The corporation argues that they are technically patented intellectual property and attempt to seize control of their lives and finances. To fight back, the brothers must team up with a sharp-tongued genetic rights attorney played by Sandra Bullock. Along the way, they discover the company has been attempting to replicate experiments that created them. The story mixes courtroom comedies with globe-trotting espionage and culminates with Julius testifying about free will while Vincent secretly negotiates a payout behind his back. Which one is real, Gene?
So one sounded like the dumbest shit until I heard 2 and 3.
So you've got triplets, you've got twins, genetic recall, or double trouble.
It's got to be triplets.
It fucking is triplets.
Yeah.
Eddie Murphy was going to be their long-lost brother. When he backed out, Tracy Morgan was cast.
Okay, so like...
I want that too.
I'm anti-AI.
Yeah.
All right, I think we've got enough I. We don't need any AI. But if I could just pay like $50 and just have that movie made...
So good.
I'm down for that. Now, granted, I would want the real thing to be made, obviously.
Tracy Morgan and Schwarzenegger and fucking... How great would that be?
Well, it was funny because when you said that DeVito was as far as could be from Schwarzenegger, I was thought, well, he's not Asian or black. And I know that genetics aren't just looks, but I was just thinking how funny it would be if you had Arnold Schwarzenegger and then like a black brother.
God, the Tracy Morgan from 50 Rock, that shit would be so good.
It's 30 Rock.
Oh, fuck. That's what I meant.
But not in this universe.
Nope.
So Big D, you mentioned this isn't a Hallmark ending. And I wanted to ask if you noticed anything strange about that final scene at the carnival. You got Julius, you got Vincent, you got Mama, you got the sisters that they've married, and now they all have twins, and Professor Werner all going to a carnival and having a rollicking good time. I got to ask, why does Professor Werner get a pass? He was part of the scientific team that lied to Marianne, told her child died, didn't tell her about the second child. He abandoned Vincent, or this team did at least. And now they're like implying that he's come from the South Pacific Island, he's in LA, and he's like the dad figure in this happy family paired up with Mama. I don't understand why he gets a pass. They should be furious with him.
I agree. And I've developed this internal canon that explains it all. In the beginning, we were trying to explain what was going on. What was the motivation? Where was the funding? What was behind this experiment? And again, I'm stretching here. I'm really trying to. My internal canon says that Professor Werner, he wasn't one of the scientists who participated in the deception. Instead, he was part of it, got upset that it crossed this ethical line, and he chose to save Julius. Okay, he pulled him out. All of a sudden, they said they closed the doors on that experiment. Then 2 days later, he's the one who rescued Jules, took him to a secluded island. And it wasn't to hide Jules from the world. It was to protect him from the project. Okay, so now if that's the case, then in the end, it would feel like he's not a forgiven villain, but he was the quiet guardian. So when he comes back, the mother realizes, thank you for protecting my son. It explains why the experiment went wrong. Julius was there. He was studying, living a great life. In my fan fiction, it makes the ending and the motivation of the scientists kind of work out a little bit.
So Marianne gives birth.
Correct.
It crosses an ethical line. Dr. Werner absconds.
He says, this is wrong.
Julius.
This is terrible.
And they're left with Vincent. They're like, well, we don't want this one because clearly they don't like him. And so they take him to this orphanage, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Marianne she doesn't go looking for Julius because she thinks he's dead. She doesn't know about Vincent. And then the whole thing has to get shut down. They can't proceed with whatever nefarious plan they had because they don't have the specimen, Julius.
Right.
And he has to go to the South Pacific somewhere because that's where he's hiding out, outside of the jurisdiction of the United States government. All right.
So he comes back as a father figure, protector. He's been his father.
God, they really should have just done that. It'd make a lot of things make sense.
I think they wanted us to see it.
Maybe one fewer yakety yak scene, one more Dr. Werner.
One less fucking two-wheelie stunt driving into the supermarket parking lot.
I did 2 wheels. Did you see? Big D, now's the time when we give our Shat score for Twins. The Shat scores are we telling you how many wipes this movie takes to get off your respective butts. 0 wipes is a perfect movie. It's when you do the 2 wheels. And 5 wipes is an absolute disaster. It's when the pavement is your enemy. Big D, as the senior twin of Shat The Movies podcast, please do the honors.
So part of the problem was I didn't even remember watching this. I think last week I said, Junior and this, I've not watched it. So I was completely wrong. I did watch it because I can remember it. And it was better than I honestly expected it to be. I think Schwarzenegger and DeVito, they're so charismatic together. It works. You see DeVito, why he became such a comedic powerhouse throughout his career. And Always Sunny in Philadelphia. Even to this day, he brings it. And he delivers those lines. Arnold, so serious. He's delivering these ridiculous lines like it's Shakespeare. And that makes it so much more enjoyable. The premise alone, it carries the movie. It's funny. The visuals of seeing Schwarzenegger in those little tiny shorts or him fumbling through his first time with a woman. But unnecessary, like the 2-wheel stunt gag, letting the brothers survive to the end. You could have tightened it up a bit. But overall, man, I think it was for his first comedy. I think a 1.5 wipe is fair. I can't go any higher than that.
I'm going to come in a little bit higher than that, Big D. This is a charming movie. You're absolutely right. These guys knock it out of the park. But that's about it. It's not a well-made movie. Every other part of it is lacking. You put any other 2 actors in these roles, and Twins collapses in its own mediocrity. So I will say it's above average purely because of their star power. I don't think anybody else did much of anything in this film. We certainly didn't anything. Marnie was kind of a smoke show. Like, let's be honest. Like, that's a good-looking woman, and her outfits were kind of amazing for 88 compared to what everyone else was wearing. But other than that, man, I can't say it's great. I'm gonna have to go 2 wipes. And
I almost kind of wish that Jules would have, because he was very well read, right? That he had an intimate knowledge of the Kama Sutra. That he may have never done it, but he knew immediately how to please a woman.
I'll speak to that personal experience. No matter how much you know about what you're doing, not wanting to be inappropriate toward a woman. Like he establishes early in the film that he respects women. And that's when, Vincent turns around and he's like, oh, so you're a virgin, huh? And I've been in that position so many times in my life where I know exactly what I'm doing, but it's broaching the initial touch that is the toughest part because you don't want to be inappropriate. I think that's what he was dealing with. I think he knew exactly what the fuck he was doing. He just didn't know. He knew what he was doing Kama Sutra-wise. He did not know what he was doing interpersonally. 2 wipes for me, 1.5 wipes from you. That gives us an average wipe score of 1.75 wipes for Twins.
So, Jamie, that score that ties us in the 166 spot with a bunch of films. Indiana Jones, Temple of Doom, Halloween 4, Drop Dead Gorgeous, Friday.
Wow.
I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker, Wildcats, Payback, Thief, After Hours, Thelma and Louise, and Excalibur.
It's good company, Twins. It's good company. Dalen, I think that's a very good score. And I think the movie lives up to the hype.
He is so damn cute. The whole cast is likable.
Yeah.
Oh, who did you not like?
Clay brothers.
They're fine. They're the generic, like, greasy meathead bookies.
Hear me out. Robert De Niro. I got something. Big D, when we did our Field of Dreams episode, you called out to the audience for fictional baseball lineups, and we have a couple more entries. Now, we've done a few more previous episodes. This will close it out for us, but I did want to give you a couple more options to go through. This one comes from Peter, and he says, hello, guys. Big D, here is the winning baseball lineup using fictional baseball characters. Now, for those who didn't hear the Field of Dreams episode, you really should check it out. It's one of our better ones. Big D did point out on that one that he has a Field of Dreams bobblehead that he would like to give away to anybody who can come up with a winning fictional baseball lineup that beats his, which he shared on that podcast. And Peter is among the contestants who stepped up to the challenge. And his winning baseball lineup using fictional baseball characters starts with Kelly Leak from Bad News Bears playing leadoff in center field. Batting second would be Benny the Jet Rodriguez from The Sandlot. Batting third, Roy Hobbs, right field from The Natural. And then batting cleanup would be Pedro Serrano, left field from Major League. In the 5 slot, Willie Mays Hayes from Major League. In the 6 slot, you'd have Jack Elliott from Mr. Baseball, first baseman. 7 would be Crash Davis, the catcher from Major League. And rounding it out in 8th would be Roger Dorn from Major League. And Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn as pitcher, batting 9th. So apparently this is the old National League. This roster was built with speed at the top, chaos in the middle, and enough movie hero power to shatter stadium lights. This lineup is built to win games, steal bases, and look incredible doing it. Big D, let me know when you need my details for the prize.
Ooh.
Thanks for all you both do. Love the pod, Peter McD.
So I think the fair thing, I have to get a spreadsheet. I lay them out because we have a bunch of entries. And the one surprised me. I don't think anybody added Air Bud in the outfield from 7th inning fetch.
Very good point.
The speed in the outfield, he covers far more distance in the outfield than any of the other ones, even Willie Mays Hayes.
I was also surprised that nobody called out the Angels in the
I
outfield.
agree. That would be the manager. Yeah. George Knox, the greatest manager.
There you go.
Yeah, but I don't think they actually, did they have Angels in the outfield, or was it just like the Angels were kind of fucking with the baseball? They didn't play any positions.
No, I don't think they played positions. I think it was divine intervention. Yeah. But you put them in a position, right? You suit them up.
This is like the GM. They're the GM of the team.
Yeah.
I agree. Well, thank you, everyone who submitted. I will do a spreadsheet to analyze.
Oh, we're not done yet.
More?
We got another one from Jason Speaks.
Okay.
Jason says, hello, Gene and Big D. I've been listening to your podcast since 2017. When my job was transferred and I started having to make a 5-hour drive a couple times a week. It is by far my favorite podcast. I'm 55, so I'm in that age slot that watched all of these great and sometimes bad movies from the 80s and 90s. I'm a huge baseball fan and played from Little League through college, so I'll watch almost any baseball movie that comes out. I'd never put together a full team from those movies, but I thought I'd give it a try. Keep up the good work, Jason Speaks. All right, at catcher, he's got Jack Parkman from Major League 2.
Ooh.
He was an all-star for Oakland before signing with Cleveland, hit 46 homers combined for the Indians and White Sox during the season the movie was set in. First baseman, he's got Clu Haywood from Major League. He won the Triple Crown for the Yankees with the .341 batting average, 48 homers, and 121 runs batted in. Also led the league in nose hair. Guy looks like a party favor when he sneezes. Second base, you got Mickey Dominguez from Summer Catch. Everyone picks Marla Hooch here. Although she was the Roger Hornsby of the AAGPBL, she quit on her team in the middle of the pennant race to get married. Can't count on her. And Mickey seemed like a prospect with a bright future, and he managed to land Beverly D'Angelo. That has to count for something. All right, coming in at shortstop, he's got Benny the Jet Rodriguez from The Sandlot, maybe the one consensus pick at their position. He hit the cover off a ball, pickled the beast, and had what sounded like a Hall of Fame career with the Dodgers. Third base, you got Ray Mitchell from Angels in the Outfield.
Yes.
Big-time bat and gold glove defense at a pretty thin position for movie characters. Plus, he was the only Angel hitting homers and making plays without the help of actual Angels. Left field, you got Kelly Leak from Bad News Bears. He was a one-man defensive outfield with speed and a rocket arm, and he could absolutely rake. At center field, you got Bobby Rayburn from The Fan.
Oh, yes.
3-time most valuable player with the Atlanta Braves and had a lifetime .310 average.
Yes.
Plus, he was able to hit a homer on demand to save his son's life. It doesn't get any more clutch than that. In right field, you got Roy Hobbs from The Natural, put up some ridiculous numbers as a rookie in less than half a season. That makes 2 players on this team that have hit the cover off of baseball.
Oh, my God.
Plus, he can pitch in a pinch. At designated hitter, Jason's got Pedro Serrano from Major League. Massive power, seemed to hit a homer when he needed it most, accepted KFC instead of sacrificing a live chicken. That shows how much of a team player he really is. And on the bench, you got the baseball furies from the Warriors. I don't know if any of them can actually play baseball, but with the players on this team, I don't really need them to. They should intimidate the opposition and make sure we win every brawl. Starting pitcher, Billy Chappell from Love of the Game, 300 career wins, Rookie of the Year, MVP, and at least one Cy Young Award. First ballot Hall of Famer. In relief, you got Ricky Wild Thing Vaughn from Major League. It took him a while to get his control down, but once he did, he blew everyone away with that 100-mile-per-hour fastball. Nails in the playoffs when he struck out Clu Haywood and Jack Parkman with the game on the line. And finally, for Jason's manager, he's got Jimmy Dugan from A League of Their Own. Took the Rockford Peaches to the championship of the first season of the AAGBPL in spite of losing 4 of his main players down the stretch. He would have managed the team to the title if Dottie hadn't dropped that ball on purpose.
Okay. Have you ever watched like America's Got Talent or The Voice or any of these?
Yeah, my mom's addicted to
the
that
second that someone opens their mouth, that's a star.
Yeah.
You can. Is this our final entry? Is there anyone else?
I think we close it out with this one. Yeah.
I got to go back. I'm not doing a fucking spreadsheet. Yeah. This man, he wrote this like a legitimate scouting report. Who said, I'm going to find a Wesley Snipes film that's better than Willie Mays Hayes? And he goes and pulls Bobby Rayburn, the prototype Barry Bonds San Francisco outfielder, who hits a home run to save his son's life. The stats, the story, Gene, is there anything better than that?
I think we got to run it up and make sure that ChatGPT didn't write it. But other than that, I think Jason's the winner for me.
It's brilliant.
Or Claude.
Brilliant. The fact that 2 people hit the cover off the ball.
Yeah.
It's fantastic.
The diversity of the films and the fact that you brought up Angels in the Outfield, Jason. I'm sold on this one.
He didn't go for the performance enhancing, religious component. He went with all the legitimate players that didn't benefit from divine intervention. It's respectable.
I'm into it.
He's a purist. I still think Air Bud. Right, you got to get Air Bud on the bench. At least a base runner.
All right. And finally, we got an email from Mark Zev, who commissioned Glory. He says, holy fucking shit. I love this. You guys absolutely crushed it with the episode and review. Thank you for making my day. 0 wipes is a bold statement to make. Totally get that. I didn't expect the 1 wipe. I thought for sure it would come in around 1.5 to 2 wipes. Bravo, Big D, and Gene. Civil War reenacting is the ultimate cosplay for sure. I aged out the moment I got my license. Also started playing in hardcore punk bands, which took over my life for the next 7 years, playing shows and touring. The last Civil War reenactment I did was the 130th Gettysburg reenactment. Yeah, of course, can't miss that one. One of the largest ever. Also spent 2 weeks in Gettysburg during the filming of the movie Gettysburg. Met fucking Sam Elliott, Martin Sheen, and Jeff Daniels. Pretty fucking cool. Sam Elliott fucking rules, period. Anyway, shared the episode with my younger brother. He remembers seeing Glory in theaters. Said my dad dropped him and his friend off at Strathmore Movie Theater in Matawan by themselves. They were in the 5th grade to see it. No adults, of course. I should have consulted him prior to commissioning. 80s parenting was like no other generation. Once again, thank you both. I truly enjoy this episode dearly. Keep up the great work. I love it. P.S. The bands I played in were, or get your Spotify or Apple Music out, Floor Punch, which is a straight edge hardcore band from New Jersey, and Endeavor. I know Gene likes some strange musical genres. Thought he'd appreciate that. I do love some hardcore, buddy. Not my career, unfortunately. For that, I am a union pipe fitter and welder for 23 years. Started my own contracting business 2 years ago, and now I'm a business owner. Best move I ever made. Business has been good, hence the commission, and definitely more to come. I have a couple of mine. We'll be in touch soon. That comes from Mark Zev.
Fuck yeah, welder, fucking floor punch. What's not to like about this? And Gene, what kills me the most about our review of Glory, no more than 2 weeks later, I mistakenly think that Morgan Freeman played the principal in Toy Soldiers. And then you said, when's the last time that Morgan Freeman carried a gun?
Buddy, I put that out on social media, and people, there are so many movies he carries a gun. Along Came a Spider. He had one in...
probably Chain Reaction. I would think he might have had one.
I think he had one in he had one in Unforgiven. but also in, I forget. Anyway, check out our Facebook and Instagram. People have made like entire lists of movies, GIFs of movies in which he had guns. And my favorite is that people emailed in and had the movies that he had guns in, and then also a photo, like as if I was going to check them on it.
Of him with the gun.
Great job, everybody. Great job, everybody. All right. And finally, to round things off, let's go with a voicemail. We have lots of voicemail. We'll try to wedge in the next few episodes. But this one comes from Tom in Midland, Texas, dating all the way back to 2025. So I think it's a bit overdue. Let's hit that one.
Tom, Midland, Texas. Howdy, Shat Crew. I'm calling in to see about a couple more movies in the future. And also to start off with, I'd like to say congratulations to Gene on being the dad now. And I hope you and your family have a wonderful first Christmas together. And Big D, I hope you and Vanessa and Emma are having a wonderful holiday season. And I'd like to set the record straight. I thought you all knew how old I was. I am not an older man like I heard the other day. I'd like to set the record straight. I am only 45. I was born in April of 1980, so I think I might be about the same age as Gene, and I'd like to set the record straight on that. I like to be open and honest in all aspects of life. And also, I really enjoyed the Best of the Best 3 podcast, and I would have been much harsher with my score. I would have given it a 4.85.
Wow.
Wipes. And also 90 to 95% of that movie is filmed right in my hometown. I was raised in, way out in the country, but the nearest big town is Bedford, Indiana. And also it was filmed in English, Indiana, which is in a neighboring county. And the 2 movies I'd like to do on top of They Live are Final Exam from 1981. It's got very wonderful cinematography, and I really have special connections to that and the other movie I want to do, which is 2001 Joyride.
I apologize for assuming that you were an older gentleman. It's surely your maturity. We're a month apart, dude. That's wild. We're basically twins.
I think it's
brother to brother.
It's because Tom sounds so seasoned. He sounds like he's wise.
It's that, he's from Liberty. He's got that. And then by way of Midland, by way of Crane, Texas, right? He's got that. Yeah, he's got that small town front porch sitting chill. But I didn't catch the other one. It was Joyride and
They Live.
What was it from 1981? No. There was They Live, but he had another one. I thought.
Well, we're in a unique situation. Some of our listeners had way back commissioned and funded the Tom Crane Fund.
That's right.
The Tom Crane Fund happens to be coming up here in a couple weeks.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have a film picked for it.
I think it's got to be They Live.
They Live.
Yeah.
It has to be.
Yeah. For people who have not seen They Live, again, talk about movies with wrestlers in them. It's probably one of the most referenced, least seen films in my lifetime, at least. I want to do that one real bad, and I think, Tom, we should definitely get on that. And thank you to everyone who contributed to the Tom and Crane, Texas endowment. What do we call it?
We called it the Tom Crane Fund.
The fund.
Yes, the fund.
Yeah. So anyway, Big D. Speaking of which, I'm in the midst of doing my living will and all that stuff, and setting up a trust for the baby.
Do it.
Man, so Sarah popped a really tough question the other day, which was if we were to both like, Harry Potter and Harry Potter's parents, who do we give, like, who gets the baby if we both were to perish in a terrible Mardi Gras accident? Right?
Yeah, it's a tough question.
So do you guys have that picked out?
We do, but we recently went through a change in who we chose. So so we had originally chosen my sister, but then recently had some changes that we won't divulge here. But yes, it will change throughout the years.
So it was interesting because that's exactly what the financial planner said to us. You pick somebody now and a few years from now, it might be a different person. And a few years after that, it might be a different person. Like, for instance, it might be my mom, but 10 years from now, when she's in her 80s, that would be not a great choice, right? And you have to change it around again. Or likewise, it could be like somebody who's a very close friend, and then maybe they're not your friend a couple of years from now. So anyway, it's a very sobering conversation. I didn't really think about it. It's like, if I were to pass away and Sarah to pass away, who gets the baby? And you try to think of what their life would be.
Yeah, but it's rare that you'll both get nipped.
It's much more likely that they lie to you and say your child is dead and then take her away to a South Pacific island.
Or dump them in the orphanage.
Or dump them in the orphanage.
Where they have sex with the nun.
Yeah.
You might want to write that in the trust.
They really blame Vincent a little too much on that one.
Seriously, like nobody made it seem like he was the victim.
I mean, she did lose her job.
I think also, Gene, if anyone wants to write in to say why they should be considered to take care of your daughter.
Yeah, sounds great.
If anybody wants to be thrown on the list.
It's going to be Jason again. Like, I'm 55 years old. I have an extensive knowledge of baseball, films.
I think if we knew anyone who was a welder and in a band called Floor Punch, I think that would be a squared away home that she would thrive in.
Or in an ultimate sign of peace, on an olive branch, if you will, I leave her to Roger. What do we have coming up next week?
So, Gene, next week is a film that I'm so excited to do. I remember having fond memories of it, and I don't think it's one that many people have seen. With the aid of his girlfriend, Phyllis, and best friend, Loomis, Grimm enters the Manhattan Bank dressed as a clown, creates a hostage situation, and executes a flawless robbery. The only thing left is for the trio to do is to make a getaway out of the city and to the airport. It sounds simple enough, but it seems that their fate deserts them immediately after the bank heist. One mishap after another conspires to keep these robbers from reaching freedom. Commissioned by Michael M., came out in January of 1990. And this is, I don't know if it's a love letter to New York, but it's so iconically New York.
Never seen this one. I'm excited for it. I think
New
York, I'm game. And only 90 minutes long. 89, technically.
Yeah, I'm hoping that it stands up to my memory.
All right. Well, thank you, Michael, for commissioning our upcoming film. Thank you, Dalen, for commissioning Twins. Thank you to all the commissioners who make this podcast possible. That concludes this week's episode of Shat The Movies. Be sure to follow us on social media and share with a friend. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Snapchat, and Instagram at Shat The Movies. You can email us, host@shatpod.com. Support the podcast by buying our merch or commissioning your own movie. Find all our information by visiting our website, shatpod.com. Also, check out our sister podcast, Shat on TV. Review TV series such as Lovecraft Country, Westworld, True Detective, Taboo, American Gods, Game of Thrones, and Watchmen. Find all information on our website, shatpod.com/TV, wherever fine podcasts can be found, including Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Stitcher, and YouTube. Be sure to subscribe, and if you stop by Apple Podcasts, please leave a 5-star review. It helps the podcast grow. On behalf of my co-host, Big D, I'm Gene Lyons. Join us next time for the following movie.
You should have known only Bill Murray could change the face of comedy.
I'm robbing the bank.
He's a guy who wants to get rich quick.
That's why he's the king, right?
I think you're just afraid to party with a real man. Pig. Excuse me? Pig.
Bill Murray, Gina Davis, Randy Quaid, Jason Robards.
At least give me the women.
Get your own women.
Quick Change, rated R. Now playing at a theater near you.